Part 1. The Hook. 00 to 030. 89% of people miss the body language clue that exposes a lie, even when it's right in front of their face. In the next few minutes you'll learn the 7 hidden psychology traits that human lie detectors use to catch deception instantly, traits you can develop yourself. And once you know these secrets, every conversation will feel like you've just put on X-ray glasses. You'll never see people the same way again. Part 2. Setup context. 030 to 130. Think of social interaction like a high-stakes poker game. Every person at the table is playing their own hand, but only some can read the tells. Some people spot bluffs before the cards hit the table. They see what's hidden, while others fall to the illusion. Body language is a language most people misunderstand. Our brains crave honesty, so we ignore the subtle leaks that reveal so much. A flicker in the eyes, a twitch of the mouth, a pause that lasts just a beat too long. But what if you could rewire your mind to catch these cues? There's one trait, number 6, that most people never develop, and it's the key to flipping the psychological script on manipulators. We'll get to that. Part 3. Main content to 10 minutes. Section 1. Hyper-observation. People who spot lies instantly aren't distracted by what's being said. They laser in on how it's being said. Hyper-observation means tuning into micro-details, those split-second flashes of emotion most people miss. Example, picture a coworker, Jenny, explaining why she missed a deadline. She's smiling, but it's a half-second late. Her eyes dart to the left as she says, "I'm sorry, there was traffic." Jenny, you know how Mondays are. Every light was red this morning. Sound familiar? The smile is delayed, not genuine. Her body is trying to catch up to her story. Why does this work? The brain struggles to synchronize genuine feelings and invented words. According to Paul Ekman's research on microexpressions, real emotion leaks out before conscious control can mask it. Your limbic system, the primitive part of your brain, reacts faster than your mouth can form a lie. How to develop this? Next conversation, ignore 80% of the words. Focus on eyes, mouth, and timing. The moment you sense a mismatch, pause. Ask a clarifying question and watch for another micro shift. Production note: animation zooms in on Jenny's face. Text on screen. Watch the timing, not the story. But here's where it gets interesting. Section 2. Pattern recognition. The best lie detectors build a mental baseline for everyone they meet. They know what normal looks like, so any deviation lights up their radar. Imagine you're at a family dinner. Your brother Mark always jokes around, makes eye contact, and gestures with his hands. Tonight you ask, "Did you eat the last piece of cake?" Suddenly his hands are in his lap. He looks away and says, "No, I didn't touch it." Mark, avoiding your gaze, "Wasn't me, maybe Dad got hungry." It's not the words, it's the break from his baseline. If you don't know someone's normal, you'll never spot the abnormal. Why does this work? The human brain loves patterns. When a pattern breaks, your anterior cingulate cortex fires up, alerting you that something's off. Liars must create a new script, which disrupts their natural behavior. How to use this? Pay attention to how people act when relaxed versus under pressure. Note their gestures, tone, and expressions. The moment something shifts, get curious. Don't accuse, just observe. This is the one most people miss. Section 3. Detachment from emotional triggers. Lie spotters don't get sucked into the content of the story. They stay emotionally detached, so their radar stays clear. Let's say your partner tells you, "I swear I was just working late. You never trust me." If you feel defensive, your focus shrinks. You miss the subtle cues. Partner pleading, "Why are you always questioning me? Isn't my word enough?" Why does this work? Emotional arousal hijacks your prefrontal cortex, your rational brain. Manipulators know this and use emotional hooks to distract from the truth. Detachment keeps your perception sharp. How to practice? The next time you feel a rush of anger or sadness during a conversation, mentally step back. Label your emotion, then redirect your focus to their body language. Notice what they're not saying. Now, pay close attention to this next part. Section 4. Curiosity over confirmation. People who catch lies aren't looking to catch people. They're genuinely curious about inconsistencies. For example, your friend tells you an elaborate story about running into a celebrity. Details keep changing. First it's a coffee shop, then it's a bookstore. Friend, "So yeah, I bumped into Chris Evans. Well, actually it was at Barnes & Noble. No wait, it was at Starbucks." You know how it is. Instead of trying to prove them wrong, a human lie detector leans in. "That's wild, what book was he getting? Or what did you order at Starbucks?" Why does this work? The confirmation bias pushes most people to seek evidence for what they want to believe. Curiosity, by contrast, encourages more talking, giving liars more rope to reveal themselves. How to use this? Ask open, neutral questions when something doesn't add up. Don't interrogate, just keep the story going. The inconsistencies will unravel themselves. And this is exactly why it's so dangerous. Section 5. Mastery of silence. Human lie detectors wield silence like a weapon. When someone finishes their explanation, they don't rush to fill the gap. They let silence do the work. Imagine your boss says, "I didn't get your email." You simply nod, say nothing, and let the pause stretch. Boss shifting in chair, Maybe it went to spam. I'll check again. Why does this work? Silence creates social pressure. The average person can only tolerate 4 seconds of silence before they feel compelled to keep talking. According to the illusion of transparency bias, liars believe their deception is obvious. So they overcompensate, revealing more than they intend. How to use this? After a questionable answer, count to 5 in your head. Maintain calm eye contact. Watch for nervous movements or self-corrections. Production note: animation clock ticks slowly. Text: silence exposes. But the next trait is almost impossible to detect unless you know what to look for. Section 6. Acute peripheral awareness. Most miss this trait entirely. Lie spotters don't just watch faces, they scan the whole body and the room. Peripheral awareness picks up foot tapping, fidgeting, shoulder tension, or even a tightening grip on a coffee cup. Say you're negotiating for a used car. The seller swears this car has never been in an accident. Meanwhile, her feet point toward the exit, her hands grip the keys. Seller smiling tightly, totally clean, drives like new. While her face is composed, the body leaks anxiety and the urge to escape. Research shows that deceptive stress leaks into the extremities first: feet, hands, shoulders. Because they're harder to consciously control. Your brain's mirror neurons subconsciously pick up on these leaks. How to develop this? In your next conversation, glance at people's hands and feet while listening. Notice if their body language matches their words. Mismatches signal something deeper. Production note: camera pans down to animated feet tapping, hand clenching. Text: scan the whole picture. That was powerful, but number 7 ties everything together. Section 7. Self-awareness and cognitive flexibility. The ultimate lie detection trait is actually about you. Self-awareness means knowing your own biases and triggers. Flexible thinkers can update their assumptions in real time, instead of clinging to first impressions. For instance, maybe you're convinced your friend is honest, but you notice a subtle pattern. Stories that never add up, a timeline that keeps shifting. Instead of defending old beliefs, you adapt. Friend, looking uncomfortable. Maybe I got the dates mixed up. It's been a long week. Why does this work? The belief perseverance bias makes most people ignore evidence that contradicts their assumptions. Self-aware people notice their urge to dismiss new data and override it, so they see what others ignore. How to practice after any suspicious conversation: reflect. Did you overlook any cues because you wanted to believe the story? Ask yourself, what would I notice if I didn't already trust this person? Production note: animated character looks in a mirror and sees different facial expressions reflected. Text: see your own blind spots. Part 4. The big reveal payoff. Approximately 10 to 11:30. Remember that 6th trait, the one most people never develop. Acute peripheral awareness. This is the secret that connects all the others. Hyper-observation is powerful, but only when you widen your lens beyond the face. The real tells are rarely in the words or the eyes, they're in the tension of a wrist, the angle of a foot, the way someone's body tries to escape the conversation. Once you train yourself to see the whole picture, not just the story people tell, you'll catch the lies nobody else sees. This isn't just about catching others, it's about understanding human nature at its rawest. Production note: montage animation, eyes scanning, feet fidgeting, hands clenching, dialogue bubbles fade out, body language stays in focus. Part 5. Practical application. 11:30 to 11:30. So what can you do right now to spot deception? First, in your next conversation, ignore 80% of the words, watch for micro delays and mismatched expressions. Second, mentally record people's normal behaviors. Next time they shift, pause and get curious. Third, practice detachment. Label it, then refocus on the other person's body language, especially their hands and feet. If you want to go deeper on reading people and protecting yourself, the full guide in the description covers advanced patterns, manipulation red flags, and tools to turn social situations to your advantage. Production note: quick recap visuals, icons representing observe, baseline, detach. Text: apply these today. Overlay subtle arrow to description button. Part 6. Natural CTA, now in the 1230 to 1300. If you want the complete playbook for reading people and gaining an advantage in every conversation, check the link in the description for the Human Behavior Code. It's the full guide I wish I had years ago. Less manipulation, more opportunity, better relationships. Production note: animated hand points to description bar with a glowing effect. Part 7. Closer, 13:0 to 13:30. Remember, the more you see, the less you'll be fooled. Knowledge isn't just power, it's protection. Stay aware, stay sharp, and I'll see you in the next one. Production note: fade out on an eye transforming into a lock.